And everybody mute.
Once a week, three laddies come together from distant lands to talk about Bigfoot, Martians, ghosts, time travel, chupacabras, and the Sweetwater legend.
I think we're all huge fans of the Sweetwater legend.
This is the Fortean Slip with your host, Chris York.
Say no to Quaaludes? Fuck no. Wait a minute. No. Say yes.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
Like, take a break, shut my camera off, go have a
Yeah.
sandwich.
And sometimes special guest, Matt Knapp.
Just
Right, anyway.
accept it for what it is and just watch it and enjoy it.
They don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. If you're looking for entertainment, you may have come to the wrong podcast. But what they do have is a very particular set of skills.
There are no cows.
No cows.
No.
No cows were harmed in the making of this incident. We often wish that your relationship went much like that of the praying mantis.
I thought that was a reference to everything being green.
Yeah, sure you did. Carry on, gentlemen. I'm going to do something else for a little while.
Wow, Steve, would you like us to stop the program so you continue to do your shit?
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Howdy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 138, 37. I don't fucking know anymore. I lose track every fucking week. Joining us, half of the duo that was supposed to join us tonight. We unfortunately couldn't get Bronx Johnny back on the show tonight. How's he doing anyway with everything?
He was mostly fine. I think he's just got to take care of his grandparents today. They're getting old and they're sick with everything going on.
So joining us, Chris from Brooklyn. Do you prefer Chris from Brooklyn?
Yeah,
Johnny refers to you as BK Chris. So
either one works.
That kind of rings like a Burger King theme to me that I just don't like.
I read the title wrong.
You read the title wrong?
Yeah, I thought we had Jenny from the block.
Oh,
you're horrible.
Jesus.
Can you just fucking just go
like already
jump into fucking moving traffic?
Let me mute.
By all means, finish your fucking sandwich first.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck.
It's an orange peel.
Oh, good. I'm sure you get tons of sustenance from that. But yeah, Chris, we haven't had you on the show yet. We've had Johnny a couple of different times.
mm-hmm.
And I heard he roped you into this.
No, you asked me a while ago, and I was gonna do it, and then the world fell apart.
Yeah,
I was busy, and then the world fell apart, and it just kind of slipped my mind. And I was gonna reach out to you, and he told me he was doing it again, so I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just jump on that."
Yeah. No. And I recently, because I had told Matt, when I had Johnny on at first, Matt's like initial thing was okay. Like, and then I had Johnny on, he could, of course, liked him. He's like, this fucking guy's great. And I was like, you'll definitely like Chris, because you're currently working on a comic.
I am, yeah. I'm working on I came out with a comic last year, and I'm putting out another one. I'm trying to put out another one by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an anthology of all just ideas that I really liked that didn't deserve an entire comic.
Oh.
Yeah.
I actually had friends in high school that did shit like that. They would like just do like little one-off things.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. There's a lot of work that goes into a comic book, and so it's like it's not really, and you don't make money at it. So it's like, it's not really, unless you're doing it just because you really want to get stuff out. To me, it's like something I can put out for the podcast fans. And we had something, we sold a bunch of them at Skankfest last year. It was the first item that sold out at Skankfest. So I just figure, yeah, it's just something like that is fun. I love comics, so I was like, let's just do that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, and like I said, I had a bunch of friends that did that in high school, and what I remember about that was that my friend Hyla, who was the artist, he drew this comic, this short strip about like if the Flash was to ever run a race. And it was, it was all this build up, and then the Flash, like, or whoever this superhero was that he created, that was the Flash, takes off and runs straight into the bullet that they fire off to start the race.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, they did some pretty brilliant stuff early on.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of that indie stuff. That's the stuff that gets, recognition, that goes places, because just the stuff that comes out from Marvel and DC and the bigger, publishers.
You don't like the new Warriors with Snowflake and Safe Space? Not your jam?
Dear fucking Christ. No, I don't.
I was trying to argue with people who were like on the side of that. I was like, this is just, if you remember Bloodlines from the 90s, I don't know how long you guys have been reading comics, but DC did a thing in the 90s called Bloodlines, where they essentially were losing market share to Marvel because Marvel had all the edgy characters and all they had was Batman. So they had all these aliens come to give people powers, so they had an excuse to have edgy characters. And none of those characters are still used because they all fucking sucked. You don't
Yeah.
want, anytime an editor's like, here, make a bunch of characters, make them this way, it's always going to suck. If it's natural, it's fine.
Yeah. And like they're running into the same type of stuff now where what they do, they just threw away the new 52 that they were doing, and now they're onto something else, and now they're like fucking they want to like totally tear down Batman. Like,
I don't
from
even
what
know. I'll tell you this: when they did the new 52, DC lost me because they had already rebooted the universe 5 years earlier, and I was like, I'm not reading the origin of Brainiac again.
I'm just not doing it. Fuck you.
In my lifetime. Yeah, I'm just not doing it anymore.
Yeah, but and like I said, it was with the bigger publishers, like they just throw stuff out and people eat the shit up.
Oh, it's crazy. Marvel lost me because they had a great run. Marvel Comics, I got back into Marvel Comics. They had a great run from Avengers Disassembled through Dark Reign and Siege. I don't know if you read any of that stuff. And then they just they did 5 crossovers in a year. And I was just like, if I finish the last book of this stupid crossover and they're advertising another one, I'm done. And I got to the end of fucking whatever the stupid thing with the hammers was, where it was all the villains, and then they just had Thor hammers. And then at the end of that, they were advertising Avengers versus X-Men, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
No more.
I can't take it. When I was really collecting for a huge stint, was when they were redoing the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
And I got roped into buying every single fucking comic that tied into that. I was so pissed off at the end of it.
Well, I remember thinking I downloaded the mega torrent of War of Light, which was the Green Lantern thing a few years ago. I was like, how did anybody read all this? It must have cost $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to a point, and Matt knows about the folders that you have at fucking comic book stores where they'll hold your stuff for you, and then they'll just slide in a few other things. Oh, here's something else you might like. My bill after a while got to be so insane. I was like, this is horrible. This is like worse than buying drugs.
There was a comic shop when I lived in Bensonhurst. I was very happy that a comic shop opened, and I remember I felt bad for the guy, but it was just like, my budget for comic books is not more than $30 a week. Like, it just can't be. And he'd be like, you want to check this out? And then he'd give me a recommendation. I'd check it out. He'd be like, oh, you want the second issue of that? I'd be like, no, I didn't really like it. And he'd be like offended. And I was just like, look, I look, if I could pay to have you run this comic shop forever, I would. I just can't.
What do you think about Joe Hill going back into horror comics?
Oh, he's doing the Vault stuff.
I want to say he's bringing back the Creep Show stuff. Isn't that what he was doing, Matt?
Yeah, I think so.
I never really read a lot of horror comics.
Yeah, I started reading Joe Hill because I didn't realize he was Stephen King's son. For one, like it just blew me. I was like, what? I mean, I've read Stephen King since I was a kid. So I picked up The Fireman and I read that, and I was hooked. And I read he has another book of 4 short novels. I read that too. And I started watching that Lock and Key fucking thing on Netflix. I haven't finished that yet. But he seems like he's got some crazy ideas going on in his head. I mean, just to give you an idea, like one of the short stories I read, guy like goes parachute and goes skydiving first time in his life, lands on a fucking cloud.
What do you mean?
Like, he lands on top of a cloud and can't get off of it.
It's a good premise.
Yeah, I mean, he throws out these really. Have you seen In the Tall Grass?
No.
Are you a horror fan at all, or?
Yeah, I watched. I'm more so recently. Like, I didn't grow up as much a horror fan, but I've gotten into it as I gotten older, largely because it's one of the few things me and my girlfriend can agree on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of my buddies are really, like, Zach Amico's really into horror. Johnny's really into horror. So I've gotten into it because of that. But it was like never something. I always watched like crime shit, and then like as I've gotten older, they don't make good crime shit anymore, but they still make decent horror sometimes.
Well, the true crime stuff I've found I like more on like YouTube now.
Well, not like true crime. Like, I'm talking about like Goodfellas and shit. They don't make movies.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I always watch stuff like that, and then they don't make that kind of stuff anymore.
Well, yeah.
What'd
you think of The Irishman?
I actually didn't watch it. I don't have. I haven't had 3 hours.
Well, if you don't have anything to do for like 48 hours.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment with my girlfriend, and we're in fucking quarantine. And she's literally. I remember I suggested rewatching Deadwood at the beginning of this, and she was just like, "You always want to watch like white guys committing crimes or on horses." She's like, "I can't fucking do it."
I can do it all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, I can all I ever dreamed about was fucking being a gangster. For fuck's sake.
Yeah. Well, I never really got, like, I didn't get what she was talking about. And then did you read that review that came out a few weeks ago of the woman who was just like, I finally watched There Will Be Blood. It sucks. Which is like a crazy thing to say, but she's just like, yes, like all these like tropes that are for men. Like, why did like 1,000 men tell me to watch this movie? It's not for women. And I was like, that's a fucking fair point. Like,
hey, yeah. I mean,
it's like fireworks are a dude thing. You know what I mean? Like, certain things are just for men.
Yeah. They cross over. There's obviously crossover. Sure. Like, let's not step on any of those toes.
Yeah. Yeah, of course there is some, but there's just certain things that I guess just resonate with men.
Absolutely. I was just last night I flipped on the Tom Segura, the new special that he just did.
I'm sure it was great.
Oh my God. He goes into the whole gender thing. I was just like, oh, fucking thank you. Because that stuff is just, I mean, I get it. Listen, I'll fucking call anybody whatever they want. But, you know, Jesus Christ, don't make it a fucking law. For fuck's sake.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
it gets a little fucking wonky. So I mean, you guys just had Big J on, didn't you?
Yeah, this week Big J was on. Dan Soder was on a couple weeks back.
Yeah, because I watched Soder. I watched the Soder episode. Loved the Soder episode. He's a great guest.
Oh yeah, it's like you don't have to do anything. You kind of just say a couple sentences and then just let him. The first time he was on a couple months ago, I think we said one sentence and then he went for 20 minutes of the funniest shit. Johnny said that Kyle Reese was the OG incel because he had to go back in time to get some pussy. And Soder just started doing Schwarzenegger voice for an hour, cock blocking Kyle Reese.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was great last time you had him on the show too. And I'd been meaning to because Johnny told me you guys were going to be putting out the Big J episode this week. So I was waiting for it, and then I have had so much shit that just popped up the end of this week that I haven't had a chance to dig into it, but I wanted to before I had you on the show because Big J. I mean, I hate to shit on like a whole thing, a comedy special, but that first Degenerates, if it wasn't for Big J, I can't find another comic in there. I mean, Joey Diaz was, I just think he was kind of off his game that one, but Big J was the only saving grace of that first Degenerates thing on Netflix. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched some of it. That was actually, yeah, I watched the Joey Diaz one. There was, who else was on? I feel like there was one or two that I enjoyed, but the crowds were dead. And I remember Jay told me off air once. Maybe it was on the SDR
Brad
show.
Williams is on there.
I didn't watch that one. I watched maybe Christina P. And then I watched the Joey Diaz and maybe one other one. I can't.
But you're right.
Oh,
it was just
Lisa Traeger. I watched that one, which I did enjoy. But I think that because Jay even told me, he was like, yo, the crowds fucking sucked.
Yeah,
For whatever reason,
showed.
For whatever reason, they just weren't great. And he was just like, he said, he was like, yeah, it was like other people, like, it's like, I've done these before. It's like other people that was their first one were very upset. Like,
oh God, but he brought something to the forefront for me that I think every man has been thinking about their entire life, and that is toilet paper crumbs in the pussy.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you right now, speak the truth, my friend. Oh God, when he started talking about that, I was like, fuck yes, somebody finally is gonna say it. But yeah, he is
one of the thing that you just kind of like. Sometimes women think that, you know, we don't notice.
Yeah, no shit, right? No, we do.
Yeah, we notice. There's a smell.
We notice.
Yeah.
But you get to talk to some of the craziest funny people.
Oh yeah.
You know, where being on that network, getting to go to Skankfest.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Stanley works with one of the guys who I think is one of the funniest men in radio.
Oh yeah, Bennington.
Yeah.
The Sleeper. That's like some of the only stuff that I could play for my chick, and she's like some of the like crazier Ron and Fez stuff. Like she just came out. We were somewhere. She actually got me tickets. We were going to see her family, but like she got me tickets as a surprise to see UFC Utica. And so she's taking a shower. We're going to see her family, and she comes out, and I'm just giggling. And she's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I just pull my headphones out and start playing. It was the Ron and Fez Knife Club bit. Did you ever hear that? Where Ron's going, "Yeah, I just worship this knife now, Fez." And he's like, "Well, you're getting real close with that, Ronnie." And he's just swiping at him with the knife for like 25 minutes. And I'm just giggling, and I'm just like, "This is the funniest shit." He's just so funny. And Stanley,
I harken back to like the when he was trying to get Fez to do acid.
Okay.
You know, those bits, and like, you know, just riding him for just hours on end.
Well, the first time I heard that show was when Stanley was on it. It was when he first started, and I was like, "Oh, let me check this show out." And I think the first line I heard, I signed up for like the free subscription to Sirius, and the first line I heard was, "Ronnie, I don't think babies are eating hot sauce." He goes, "Yeah, Fez, then what are they putting on their oysters?" It's such a good fucking line. And I was just like, "Nah, I fuck with this."
And Ron can just make anything funny.
Yeah.
The man is brilliant. He can take a bag of dog shit sat in his lap and make it entertaining. That is the one thing that I love about. I used to listen to Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez. I drove truck on the road all the time. It's just constant. I stared at a windshield all day long, and you know, I just would listen to them all day long, and his delivery, I mean, just amazing. And I don't listen to him as much anymore. I'll catch him every so often. You know, it's harder for me to catch him at the time that he's on, or you know, or to go back, and I've got podcasts I listen to. Fucking hey, Joe Rogan puts out a lot of shit, Chris.
Oh, I don't listen to that much of I only listen to Rogan when he has somebody on that when they're on something else, I'm not smart enough to listen to. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I know exactly.
He's got the chick, the Find My Fitness girl. What's her name? Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Rhonda Patrick, yes.
On. And I think she's great whenever she's on. It's a lot of like very digestible information. But then I tried to listen to her on Tim Ferriss, And I was like, oh, I'm stupid.
I am a dumb motherfucker.
Talking to a mook, and I am a mook. And now she's talking to a smart person, and it's like, oh, I guess that's not me. Like,
Yeah.
like,
No, Ron, and when Fez was on, it was, oh God, it was gold. And even now, the show that he has now with his daughter, and I've said to Johnny before that I think Stanley is hilarious in and of himself. Like, the man he is fucking the way him and Ron play off each other. It's great.
When he goes on like a manic tear, it's one of the funniest things. It's the hardest I'll ever laugh is like when he just gets into something, and I think he sees it. To me, there's one of these things where it was just me and him doing a show. Johnny was out, and I just was doing prep for the show, and I was like, there's this thing where you can make your own pizza, but it's only in Australia. And he was like, yeah, I want to talk about that. And then I bring it up on the show, and he goes, yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to make the fucking world's best fucking pizza. Let me tell you something. You're going to love our fucking pizza so much. We're going to tour Australia. They're going to throw us a fucking parade. They're going to be like, oh, those pizza guys. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, you like this pizza? Hold on. And then I'm going to shoot my dick off. I'm going to take a gun out, and throw my dick to the crowd, and everybody's going to fight to have one little piece of my dick. It's like, okay. He's like, yeah, that's our Australian pizza tour. We're doing that this summer. Get fucking ready. And I was just like, and he did that for probably 10 minutes.
He just goes all in.
Just made it funny. Just was going slow. I was just going, yeah. And then they're all cheering. Yeah, those are the pizza bros, bro. Let's get the pizza bros. Oh man, let's eat his dick. Like, it's just
Stanley's his shit, dude. You get to work with some great people, is what I'm saying. I mean, yeah. It sucks that they had to cancel fucking Skankfest South, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my, because I was talking with you right before it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think you were prepping for everything. Like you were posting some stuff for it. And I was like, when I heard everything was coming down, I'm like, fuck, they're going to cancel that thing.
Yeah, it definitely blows. I was looking forward to it. I mean, who knows what the energy will be like? It's supposed to be in September now.
Yeah.
I think that was the first thing. Yeah, they were really going to use me a lot on that one. I've been to all of them, but they don't really use me. They use me a good amount this past summer.
Mm-hmm.
But less like stand up and more just like I co-hosted Zach's show with Stanley. Me and Stanley did a trivia event. I hosted the wrestling show, but like I did a good enough job at all of those. And then like I've been doing some road stuff with Lewis. He was just like, yeah, we'll make sure you get spots. You're going to get
nice.
Like come out. And I was really excited because.
So you're doing stand up now?
Yeah, I've been doing stand up. I was doing it secretly for a while. And then I wanted to get proficient.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm confident enough to do it. And it was just like, all right, yeah, give me a spot.
I don't have the balls to do it. I can tell you that.
pretty easy.
I'm like, I was just watching, somebody was talking to Anthony Cumia saying how he's basically a stand-up comedian and he basically just needs to be a stand-up comedian. He's like, I can't go up there and eat my balls like you guys do.
Well, why does he need to do that? The guy's a multi-millionaire.
Exactly. But everybody's like, but you're basically a stand-up comedian. So, but yeah, I mean that you get to fucking deal with those guys on quite a regular basis. Pretty awesome. So how did you guys start High Society Radio? Because I started listening to you guys way back.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm talking when it first started. Because I listened to Johnny and Chris back on Ron and Fez when Johnny was interning.
So back then they had that Saturday Night Virus block on XM, and Stanley had just started there right about when we started doing the show. But they started giving essentially to keep interns that had been there for a while who were competent. Like Johnny is, as much as he's a crazy person. I don't know what his skill set is now, but at the time he was very competent as far as cutting clips and producer work. Mm-hmm. He could do it, but XM didn't have the budget to pay people. So they were trying to keep these interns there longer than so they started giving them airtime on the weekends if they hung out and did some work. And so Johnny was supposed to do it with somebody who ended up getting fired. And so he just needed somebody else. Stanley was new. They had a good rapport, but like Stanley was kind of like iffy. He's like, I need to bring somebody in that I know I could talk to for 2 hours. And he kind of just brought me. I remember I was sitting in the office doing prep work for the show. a couple of days earlier, we were just putting some stuff together that we were going to then do on the Saturday. It was a 3-hour slot, which, you know, when's the last time I've done? I guess I did a 3-hour drunk show with Gomez last week. But other than that, like to actually prep a show, it was like kind of, we were just actually like getting everything down that we wanted to do. And Ron just came in and goes, this fucking asshole right here. And I just like look up and I don't know him other than having heard him on the radio. He's like, he goes, you know how fucking lucky you are? The first time you're touching a fucking microphone, you're in a live national fucking audience. You know how long I had to wait for that? I'm looking at him like, this was your idea. I did not.
Dude, he's just busting your balls like right out the gate.
From the side. I didn't know he was there.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's like getting a bike for Christmas and then your dad busts your balls about getting a new bike for Christmas.
Yeah. No, calling you like a pussy for not being able to ride it.
Yeah. You little fucking bitch.
Where's your pussy?
I had to get a tetanus shot every time I rode my fucking bike. I had to still it.
No,
Nobody gave me a fucking thing.
So you guys did that. How long did you do it on XM?
6 months, and then they told us we couldn't do it anymore because some guys came to hang out and I guess got seen in the hallway with a 12-pack during our time slot. Like some of our buddies got hammered and were acting like jerk-offs in the building.
Yeah, that shit was notorious for that shit. Was that at the old XM studios?
Yeah, that was the better situation. Like we used to just still record the podcast there, and it was super easy. And then once they moved over to Sirius, they kind of were like clamped down. It was like we get in trouble. I was like, all right.
Yeah. So what spurred you guys over to Gas Digital?
Well, I'll be honest. A lot of that comes from. So I've been friends with Dave Smith from Legion of Skanks since I've known Dave longer than I've known Stanley. So like probably when I'm like 15.
Dave, another guy who throws out some of the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Oh yeah, he's super underrated, super dude. And I'll tell you this right now. As far as a comic, I went to 2 dates with him. I opened for him and Rob Bernstein twice. And I went out, and this is a guy who's like, he's not doing sets around the city, man. Like that guy had an hour ready to go. And then 2 weeks later, we're in another city and it's better. And I'm like, you have a newborn and I know you're not, where did you work this out? He just listened to himself and was like, oh, here's how this could be better. And it was significantly better 2 weeks later. Like an underrated comic, Dave Smith. I'll just say that.
But yeah.
I've been friends with him for a long time. I just started hanging out with him and Lewis over when they were at Kumia's and just at the Creek and stuff. And then they were starting the network. And honestly, maybe Lewis would say something different, but I kind of think I was the only one that wasn't like, let's watch Lewis fall on his face. I was the only one who texted him, was like, hey dude, I heard you're starting a network. We've got 400 hours of content. We've got 250 hours of content. You don't like, I don't care about getting paid for the first 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, I think I might've been the only person who's like, yeah, I want to get down with what you guys are doing. I see the organic growth, the trajectory from, because I would go where I was cooking when I was a chef, where I was cooking was 4 blocks from the Creek. So if I had to stop in on my day off, which was Tuesday, I would then go over to when Legion of Skanks was taping. Just because if I had to stop in to do one thing, I would go over to Legion of Skanks, because why wouldn't I go to a bar and hang out with my friends? So I'd go there, hang out, and I watched it go from just me in the audience to like 10 people to they would fill up that small room downstairs to they were on the Kumia network, and then I'd go hang out there and there'd be the bleachers would be packed. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just watching the trajectory of this. And like, we're putting out content. Dave came on, Dave used to come on High Society. Like I would just have him in this apartment. I would just like, whenever Ron and Fez would be off, I'd be like, we should put out extra content because we'll get a number bump. And I would have Dave come over and we'd just do an hour, me and him, and I would just throw it out and we'd get more downloads than it would normally get because there was like, whatever, like all the radio shows would be off
right
that week. So I would try to put out 4 shows that week.
Dude, that's not an unsmart move.
Yeah.
I remember when because listen, I was a huge Opie and Anthony guy. Like I bought an XM and I don't think I shut that fucking thing off for 7 years. It was on constantly. Like I drove women insane, like with how much I listened to that shit. And when they weren't on, or when there was nothing else on, and they were playing replays that I didn't want to hear again because I'd heard them all week on the weekends, and they put you guys' stuff on, or Dr. Steve, I think was one of the other ones they put on. It was great. So when you do stuff like that, when other people aren't doing things and you're putting stuff out, yeah, that's a smart move.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, so I already had the just the relationship was starting to form with like those guys. Just like, obviously I was friends with Dave, but we started doing stuff here. We'd have a good time with it. And then I would hang out at Legion of Skanks. I was on the first episode they had with New Jack, just as Lewis was it was the second one, because Lewis was fighting the fucking intern and New Jack was the referee, but then he couldn't cut a promo. So on like Lewis's Periscope, I started cutting promos as his manager. And I was like, let me just come in and plug the podcast. So we were already like doing some stuff. And then like, when it was just like a no brainer, I just like hit up Lewis and he was like, I got to listen to a bunch of your show. And then he did. He was just like, yeah, you guys are weird enough where this is going to work. And enough of our fans, we have a small but incredibly loyal fan base.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Our people were just tweeting Lewis and Kumia every day. Why are these guys not on your network? Why are these guys not on your network? Why are these guys not on your network? Like every day. Like, wow. And it was just like, I think it just like kind of, that was like part of it. You know? And then, I love working at Gas Digital. I do people get annoyed that I'm on so many shows. Like, somebody texts me and it's like, you want to come do a podcast? I'm like, what the fuck else am I doing? If I'm not doing anything, I'm gonna do a podcast. Like,
fuck yeah. It makes sense. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And if you're friends with those guys.
Yeah. And there's fucking naked ladies there sometimes.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Oh, where?
This gets your fucking attention, Steve.
Hey, you guys don't shut up.
Well,
you guys been talking for 20 straight minutes and I haven't been able to get a fucking word in edgewise.
What would you say?
Did you finish your orange peel?
I don't know. I just like naked ladies.
He just wants to point out his fucking hat.
Oh yeah. Check it out.
What's your hat? Oh, fuck off.
It's not a bad hat though.
It's not a bad hat. It's the connotation.
I made it myself.
Oh, would you put Bigfoot on there?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, all right. I can go with that.
My shirt says I'm chock full of COVID-19.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, I made a shirt. I made a shirt this week. I don't have it in here, but I made a shirt that said the 2020 checklist. I should have sent you. And it said worldwide pandemic check. Murder hornets check. That bitch Carol Baskin check. The last one was zombie apocalypse. No check yet.
But we'll get there. We haven't got there yet. But yeah,
I saw a cop in a beekeeper outfit outside my window last week. For these fucking
in New York City.
Yeah, we can't get fucking surgical masks, but you guys just had beekeeper outfits already. I think they heard those old bees were Africanized, and they were like, probably
they're coming.
Yeah.
We did a show on I still have the graphic up on my green screen from because we did the murder hornets last week on the show. And I'm just like, people, listen, they came from Asia. People in Asia have been dealing with these things for a long time.
Dude, that was one of the first viral Neekers Metal videos. Do you remember? We were talking about this on the show the other day. Remember they had 30 of those hornets killed like 1,000 bees to Flight of the Valkyries?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same hornet.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones that the bees try to heat up the nest to cook them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they can't stand the high temperatures. So I was just, we looked up how many people have died per year from murder hornets in Asia. 70. And the number was a whopping like 20 to 30.
50 tops.
In all of Asia?
Yeah.
Including China and India.
Well, there's not very many people in Asia, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, keep that, yeah. Understand,
Very
it's like
sparse. Yeah.
But so I'm just like, really, people? Like we're gonna make more fear out of this fucking thing. Like, I remember when I was a kid, it was those goddamn killer bees. They were coming. They were coming up from South Africa. They were gonna take us. We were gonna all get stung to death. And listen, if you get stung by a fucking whole nest of these things, yeah, you're gonna have a fucking problem.
Dude, I already saw it today on the internet. Somebody was posting pictures of a dead one. Not one of those, just a regular fucking hornet. But they're all freaked out. Like, I think this might be one of the murder hornets. I was out mowing my grass and it hit me in the back of the head. I'm like, Yeah, they found 2 of the things. And like they've already traveled across the United States and pegged you in the back of the fucking head while you're mowing your lawn.
There was a graphic where there's like 16 different hornets. And this is not a murder hornet. This is because everybody thinks that every fucking bee that they see right now, fucking murder hornet.
Yeah. It's such and the media plays into it so bad right now. It drives
I think the
me.
reason why they're calling them murder hornets instead of what they always called them,
Yeah.
Japanese hornets. They spent the last 3 months saying you can't call it a Chinese virus. That's racist. But they've always called these things Japanese hornets.
Yes, they have.
Or giant Asian hornet, I think is.
But they don't want to get in trouble. So like,
now
what else can we call it?
So we just go to
murder.
So we just go to murder. I mean,
It sounds scarier. It's better. I mean, it's the media, man.
Maybe they'll start calling pit bulls like murder dogs.
What I want to know, these things are Japanese. How the hell is there a baseball team called the Hiroshima Carp and they had murder hornets?
I know, right?
Murder hornets. What are you doing?
It seems like the obvious go-to.
Yeah. Don't be scared of a carp.
Yeah, go with the hornet, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But they're Japanese. They make that weird fucking hentai porn shit.
It's true.
So I mean, it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
But I'll take their Godzilla movies.
Oh, I will.
I'll take the. Make me some more big fucking ass monsters that come out of the ocean movies.
I've been enjoying the reboot. A lot of people don't like the reboot of the Godzilla movie.
Did you like the King of the Monsters?
I thought it was a little too foggy, but the other two, the first Godzilla and Kong of Skull Island, was great.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And I am about, I want to say 3/4 of the way through King of the Monsters.
it's all right. It was all right.
Yeah, it's. Someone said that they were going to direct a Godzilla movie with no human beings in it, and I was like, okay, thank you. Yes, yes, that is the movie I would like. Take away that human bullshit drama. I can't. I liked that Godzilla movie that they came out with, the one with Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay. What I did not like about it was the fucking kid that had to show up at every incursion of Godzilla across the globe that happened to be his son that was there when the Mutos or Muto, whatever fucking, like, I was just like, really? Like, can we just have a Godzilla movie? Can we just have a big ass fucking monster?
Yeah,
that's what I think. That's what everybody wants.
But or you could do it like fucking Independence Day, where it's still kind of just getting to the, there wasn't that much. You know what I mean? Like Independence Day had a lot of drama, but it was still like a lot of aliens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it outweighed it.
I think Pacific Rim, for all of its flaws, is a great monster movie.
Yeah, I hate Charlie Hunnam though. Hate him.
Yeah, he is a hard one to choke down sometimes.
Mm.
Although I have you seen The Gentleman?
No, I didn't see it yet. Is it good?
It is so good.
Okay, I'll give it a watch. I've been watching a lot of movies.
It's I have been waiting for Guy Ritchie to make a movie like that. I think Madonna fucked the good ability of him to make movies out of him for a short period of time. I think like him sticking his dick in Madonna did something.
And then he made 2 Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah, and that whole King Arthur movie that he made.
Oh, right. I forgot about that piece.
That he defended to the fucking bitter end. I was just like, ugh. But The Gentleman, if you get a chance, fucking great movie.
You know what really annoys me about those Sherlock Holmes movies? He was supposed to, they had him attached and Viggo Mortensen attached for a Lobo movie. And I would have loved to see a Guy Ritchie. Maybe you don't need Viggo Mortensen, but I would love to see a Guy Ritchie.
I'd just like to see a fucking Lobo movie.
Yeah. Be great.
Yeah.
I'd be on board with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know who Lobo is.
Just go back to what you were doing.
Intergalactic biker. It's like,
what do you think of Morbius?
It didn't look very good.
You didn't like it?
No, I don't really ever need to see. Is it also Jared Leto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I think it might be all right. I thought I watched Venom on HBO and it was better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. See, that's the problem. Venom is one of those movies where it's but I don't want Venom to be better than what I fucking thought it should be.
Yeah, it could just be good.
Like it could have been a much better movie. I am glad that they are going forward with it.
Mhm.
Like that they're gonna make another one.
They might hit a stride. I always say this, like the first Iron Man movie is great, but then Marvel, most of that first wave of Marvel movies kind of sucked.
Oh god, they tanked it with Thor 2 and Iron Man 2.
With Thor was kind of boring. It was all right. Iron Man 2 sucked. Thor 2 sucked. Incredible Hulk wasn't good. I don't like the first Captain America movie. Like Meadows' first movie. Like just Iron Man was
that one I actually did like. The first Captain America movie I did like.
I know a lot of people like it. I just wasn't a fan.
Well, here's the thing, because I was never a Captain America fan.
Mhm.
Like I was never like rah Captain America. He just wasn't something I was into.
Mhm.
And when the movie came out, my son was young, and it was a 3D movie, and he wanted to see it. So of course I was like, of course I'm going to take you to see it. So we went out and we saw it, and I really enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that was actually a really good film. And then when I went into Winter Soldier, that movie, because of the first one, the Winter Soldier like fleshes that out after Avengers, just it really brings it all around.
Mhm.
I think that to this day, I think it's the best Marvel movie that's been made.
What was great about that movie is like you almost go, how do they do just a basic superhero movie after they did the whole Avengers thing with that big scene at the end? And it was that movie was great. And then you just go, oh yeah, just make it a spy thriller. And then you're like, oh yeah, right, this guy.
Yeah, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely awesome. So you told me you watched the Bob Lazar.
I did watch that
documentary.
Pretty great. I really he makes it the most feeling like plausible that there's aliens. I feel like because he's like, yeah, look here. First of all, there's proof that I worked here. They said I didn't work here. I went to these colleges. They said I didn't. You know what I mean? Like it's just like there's proof that I've been to these places. And he's
definitely one of those guys where it's like something is not right.
Yeah,
something's weird here. And I saw him on Rogan, and that was kind of, I mean, I was like,
Rogan's gonna stop getting people high.
Yeah, that is definitely something he needs to stop doing.
People that don't smoke weed, like well, I mean, it worked out with Alex Jones, but other than that,
oh god, that was great. Yeah. But yeah, the whole alien thing. So we were talking about this recently. How crazy it is that we live in a time that the Pentagon has basically released videos of unidentified flying objects, said they are unidentified flying objects after they said that no, these aren't. They denied it at first.
Well, they said the same tapes were hoaxes, right?
Yes.
2 years ago.
At first. They denied it at first, and now they've released them, and now they're saying, yeah, no, they're real. We're living in a fucking time where the Pentagon released this shit. They're saying it's real. They're not saying it's aliens, but they're saying it's real. And we're all just like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Like I can't believe it. I figured like fucking like everybody would be going crazy if the government ever did this shit. But it's just
they
like,
didn't say the aliens were real. You know, they just released some tapes.
Well,
but it is a massive turnaround from what they normally do, though.
Yeah, and what's shown on those tapes is some strange shit. I mean, have you looked over that, Chris?
I've seen. I watched one or two. It's like the Tic Tac thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I didn't watch all three of them. But it is I mean, it's a crazy thing. But again, it's like anything else. It's not like, dude, I remember seeing a story on the news that they just never followed up on, where it was like just this big metal thing in fucking upstate New York, and nobody ever talked about it again. Like that, like 1,000 people saw.
Big metal thing.
Yeah, just like they saw it in daytime, and like it never got talked about on any news program again.
I know there was
Channel 5 News.
I know there was one over, what was it, Chicago O'Hare? Is it?
Maybe that's it. I was a kid.
Is that the one where there was so many people that saw it?
It was over the airport, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the one that happened in Africa where all those kids saw it. And that's another one that's kind of creepy because like the kids all describe the same shit.
What's that one? I don't know that one.
So it's been a
at
long
a
time since.
school.
Yeah, it happened at a school. These kids were outside playing like recess type thing, whatever. I want to say there was like a teacher / monitor outside too
Yes.
that kind of saw something but didn't see everything.
Wasn't it like a private school where like rich people's kids went?
Yeah,
and
rich kids,
important
yeah.
people, political
Yes.
figures and stuff, like their kids were going there.
And they saw, I want to say did they see it land?
Yeah, they saw it in the sky and then like go down behind some trees and like supposedly like some of them saw like an alien being or something and had telepathic communications with it, and they like went inside and drew all those pictures.
Oh yeah. Afterwards.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
we did just recently do a show on this thing.
A while ago, dude.
Yeah, not that long ago.
It was a while ago. You got to realize we go through a lot of topics, Steve.
Yeah, we do.
A lot of topics. There's a lot of crazy bullshit out there.
See, I'm almost more interested in like if like a bunch of poor African kids were like, we saw a UFO, I will almost take that because they see so much crazy shit. They have no reason to make some shit up. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm almost like, yeah, all right, I'll fuck with this. Like, I believe you. Like,
yeah, I that one was one of the more believable stories that I've heard in a while when that came out. There's that one, like I said, the Chicago O'Hare one that I've heard of. The Phoenix Lights. That's another one which everybody says is flares, but I saw something very similar here. And I'm not saying that it was aliens, but I saw something very similar here in Maine when I was young. Looked very much like the Phoenix Lights. But I don't know. I'm one of those people where I don't know. It could be fucking anything. It could be experimental crap.
Can I ask a question, Chris?
Sure.
Why is it that Katie's in the chat and not on the show tonight?
She wanted to take a break this week.
Oh, so she got in the chat instead?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
She wanted to be like a regular listener. You got to understand, Chris. Katie was like a fan turned our producer.
Yes.
So she's still likes to listen to the show.
Is that because
even though she's on it?
We did a contest. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a fake contest because we had an asshole who kept bugging us to be our producer. By the way,
speaking of asshole who wanted to be our producer,
yeah,
Alan, if you message me one time more telling me how fat I am, I'm going to come to your fucking house and beat the living snot out of you.
Wow.
I get a message at least once a week from that asshole.
About how fat you are?
Sweetwater legend.
About how fat I am.
Yeah, Sweetwater legend is legendary.
I'm not even that fat. Well, again, I was trying to.
You put on some pounds, Steve. Let's face facts.
Yes, I did.
Quarantine has not done you well.
Saying,
so what made you deep dive into a fucking Bob Lazar, Doc?
I just need stuff to watch, man. I'm fucking. There's nothing going on. I was just like, I throw stuff like that on when I'm like working out, and I'm just like, oh. And I feel like if I'm watching stuff like that, like if I'm doing something else, it won't. Like alien stuff creeps me out. If you just show one of those big heads and play it, I won't sleep that night. I'll need to get good and drunk. But like something like him, where he's just like kind of like. I remember hearing about the documentary, and I was just, first of all, that documentary was terribly made. I was just like, just let this guy talk. Like, what are we doing with the stylized horse shit? Like, you're just making it look uncredible. But like, I remembered about it, and I was like, oh right, that's on fucking Netflix. I want to hear more about what this guy has to say, because he's not going, yeah, I saw the aliens, they're real. I got probed in this and that. He's just like, look, all I know is I worked on an aircraft that shouldn't exist. And to me, that's way more interesting than some of the other. Like, I don't care about your abduction story. Like you saying that you worked on a fucking craft with an element that wasn't supposed to exist that now they've been able to manufacture. Like, that's fucking insane. And just the fact that they disappeared you.
Yeah, his story is very, very strange. What is it? Element 115?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's element 115. And everybody suspects that the reason the government hasn't come after him is because they think he has it. Like, that's like one of the big theories is that they won't.
That's why he hasn't been killed.
Right, is because he has it. But now they've come out and said that it exists.
I
Yeah,
think
so
the
that's a
rea-
weird.
I
So
think the reason
yeah,
they don't go after Bob Lazar is because for all these years we all looked at him like, okay, he's a crazy motherfucker, and so it doesn't lend
yeah,
any
they
credibility to
do it.
his
They do
story.
enough of discrediting people over the
Yeah.
years. Like, I mean, th- we've said it many times. It takes a certain type of person to get into UFO, Bigfoot, ghost research because you're going to be ridiculed if you do it or if you have any interest in it. Like it's just I mean, I do this show where I'm not even a full-fledged believer, Chris. Like I'm one of those guys that's on the fence. I like the topics. I like to talk about these things. But because I do this show, I have a whole section of my family that fucking just is like, you believe in Bigfoot and shit, man. That's what I get when I go there. I get that. And I get it. It's like, you believe in that hokey shit, but it takes a certain type of person to like really, stick it out. Lazar is stuck to his story,
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
and that's my thing with it. Like, he's not one of those guys who came and went, or like his story got debunked and then it's gone. Like he's been here. He's here. I think there's something to be said for his story.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
overall.
And I agree with you about the doc, that the doc was made horribly. And the guy that made that documentary was also with him on Rogan and fucked that interview up too.
Oh, really? I don't remember the Rogan episode that much.
Yeah. He wouldn't shut up.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, just a verbose fucking filmmaker douche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would have much preferred if Rogan had just talked to Bob Lazar.
I don't think you would get Bob Lazar to do it. For whatever reason, there's like a couple of guys he trusts that he talks to. And who knows? Maybe that is the indication that it's fake, that he'll only talk to 4 people. You know what I mean? The fact that he won't talk to Joe Rogan, but he'll talk through this proxy of a guy we see isn't a very talented filmmaker.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because I mean, you've got an interesting character on your hands.
Yeah. I mean, just overall, I didn't know that he got arrested for running a brothel or helping start a brothel. And I was just like, that kind of makes me believe him more.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, he, like I said, his story hasn't changed. You can look up the stuff about him in certain, like there's like, isn't there like news articles about him?
Yeah, that was the main thing. Was the local news was the first ones that profiled him, right?
Well, I want to say that there was there was notices of him like in the area at the time, like because like you were saying, they tried to it seems like they've tried to erase him, like take him like out of the history of things, like like you were saying, his college history and the fact that he even worked there, but yet he can go there and tell you where things were and are.
Yeah, but they found him in like an employment registration. Like they had like a list of all the employees at Los Alamos, and he was like, "Yeah, see, like I clearly worked there. Like it's there. There's a photo of him. Like, and that's what's crazy. The funny thing is like when people say like, so like if I went when he goes, all right, it proves that I worked there. So that's all that you need to know. Like the fact that I say I went to this school, even if I went there or didn't, how does that change the fact that I worked at this place that there's evidence of? How do I can't just work there without a college degree. Where's my college degree?
Right. And if you listen to him, and I don't know, I'm not, like I said, I'm just a fucking dumb fuck. But if you listen to him, he sounds like a guy who knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He doesn't sound like a dumb son of a bitch that's just making up a story.
Well, there's videos of him building fucking rocket cars.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's not like he's just some fucking dumb asshole. It's a weird story. It's one of those stories where I know we're never gonna get to the bottom of it. Like that's the thing that I think that draws me into all of this the other shit that we do, is that I'm just like, I'm never gonna get to the fucking bottom of it. So let's just talk about it and see if we can't have a few fucking laughs in the process. You know, because the stuff we talk about on a regular basis, Chris, like, let's see, teleporting Bigfoot.
I want to know about that.
Yes, there's a whole.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes, no, we're gonna go down that road.
No,
Steve.
don't do it.
There is a whole group of people in the Pacific Northwest, Chris, that you can look up, and they believe that Bigfoot has come here through an interdimensional portal to heal us, and his name is Zorth. One of them. Yeah, he's the leader.
They're not all Zorth.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Yes, Zorth is their leader, and Dr. Matthew Johnson, I prefer to call him Magic Johnson. He has supposedly facilitated bringing these creatures through by using a device that we think is like a toaster and a magnet and something else with some duct tape.
Wait, do you guys have a picture of it? Can I see? I really am very interested.
I probably find it. Katie, if you can find something about the
I have
Dr.
the
Johnson's bullshit. You do?
Somewhere.
So like,
because I was
this is a licensed family therapist, by the way.
Oh yeah,
for real.
Oh yes, that's the greatest thing about it.
Child psychologist.
He's written
making these claims
on child psychology,
writing books about it.
Wow.
You have to go, like, you know how they have those like shitty like sideshow attractions, like go to the House of Gravity, you know, where you can like roll a ball uphill and stuff like that. He says that you have to like go to one of those places and like charge up in energy before you can open one of these portals to another dimension that allow Bigfoot to come through. And he uses like a flashlight or some shit.
What?
Yes,
it's not a.
We're not bullshitting you.
And like Bigfoot like healed his dick or some shit.
What's that?
Sounds like some John Smith gold plates shit.
It's well, we consider this a cult. I mean, because the his followers. Oh my god!
And so people actually like there are people who believe this.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh yeah, vehemently. And they if you try
hundreds of people or like 5 guys.
No, there's more than 5 for sure.
There's more than 5. There's a good group of people that believe in this, and they follow him around. He has like his little get-togethers. Yeah, it gets crazy. And we've often said like this stuff so mimics cult-like behavior, like fucking Jim Jones shit. It gets freaky super fucking quick.
Well, it's like anything. I think it's like anything else. It's like once you've invested in something and people call you a crackpot for it, the tendency is to dig your heels in more and to get the. I was just talking.
Is that what Johnson's doing? Is that what we've missed all this time?
No, but you know what I mean. I was just talking to James Lindsay about this. He's one of these all this stuff about social justice warriors. He's the guy who did the grievance study hoaxes.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to him.
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. He published them, right?
Yeah. I just did an hour and a half interview with him last week, and we were just talking, and I was just like, he goes, people. I was talking about. I commend him for not, because he's not a right wing guy at all, and I commended him for not becoming full alt right. Because I talked to that guy, Michael Rechtenwald, who was he was the NYU professor who got outed as having a Twitter account where he was saying like transphobic stuff. It was like it was like a weird thing. But this is a guy I talked to early on. He was like, look, I was just venting on there because of the things on campus. He's like, they're calling me a right-wing guy. I'm a communist. He was like telling me how he's a left-wing communist, this and that. But like I follow him on Twitter and he's just become a full-on alt-right personality because that's where the positive feedback has been coming for this 2 years since he's been ostracized from his former life. So like I could see like if you get into the teleporting Bigfoot shit and all your friends are like, you're a fucking idiot. You're just like, well, I guess I'm all in now. These are my only friends.
This is what I got.
Yeah, this is it.
I really think that has a lot to do with it. You know, you find a community.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially, you know, his certain types of type of personality, because he started out as just a witness. He came forward saying that he had a sighting while he was hiking with his family, and it was just a regular like I saw something that matches the
Matt,
description of what people
Matt,
call Bigfoot.
Hold on. You forgot that he cried every time he told the story.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
We saw the Big Show.
Yeah. So like that's how it started out, and he got on TV and he got to tell his story, but then he was just like thrown in the pile with the other people that have seen Bigfoot or claim to. And he wasn't getting any attention that way. So eventually he just kept on growing and growing and growing in his expertise on the subject until eventually it took a hard left turn and
At
went the route
Albuquerque.
that it did. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's great.
And understand, he's still a practicing psychologist.
How would it, I mean, people can't, like, I have friends who are personal injury lawyers who won't do a roast battle. They're like comics. They won't do a roast battle because they're just like, imagine you Google your fucking personal injury attorney and you see a fucking video of them calling somebody a homo or something. Like, you're just like, even if you think I'm competent, you just don't want to be associate. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
right.
Like, it's just not a good look in front of a judge.
Yeah, and this guy just keeps doing, and people, as far as we know, he's still practicing.
Well, you have
Like,
the other side too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always talk about that pendulum swing. You have the other side that is so pissed off at the bullshit that he says. People have like,
oh yeah,
called, you know, the whatever it is, the Psychologists Association of the state he lives in, and like reported him, you know, like, this guy's crazy, you need to jerk his license, and like he's been investigated and stuff. Like,
but as long as he's not
ruin his life,
as long as he's not giving bad advice or violating laws, I'm sure they can't just gang his license for being a lunatic.
Yeah,
which you'd
and
think,
like, if you're taking your kid to see the guy, like, I don't know, I think I would look somebody up on the internet.
Yeah, at least
taking my kid to
quick Google.
Yeah,
check,
and like this guy would show right up. So like,
imagine
I
just, like, you walk past, like, you know how like people like leave books out, right?
Yeah,
in the street. Imagine you're just walking past a stack of books people have left out on the street for people to take a look at, and you just flip one crazy Bigfoot book over, and it's your therapist.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
What is going on here? This man
does
talks
this mean
me down.
I'm really not worthy of love. What does this mean?
I have to pray to Zorth.
Yeah, I love that Zorth. I love the idea that the reason why nobody has found Bigfoot is that he just teleports.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. We haven't found him. What do you mean? He teleports. Stupid.
Well, it started.
It
started out as that they could. They were like the Predator.
Okay.
In the Predator movies, that they could become invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I found
then, what is this? All right, hold on. Is that the portal, Steve?
That is the original portal photo.
That's the original portal photo.
That is a red flashlight. You call it portal. I call it red flashlight.
I call it.
It was just a hairy prostitute.
No, so back when this all came out, I was working on a comparison of stalactites and stalagmites in a cave, and I'm pretty certain that's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%.
But it doesn't. It kind of.
I think I actually had the real cave because I had the compare. I never did put it out and release it.
A cave? I thought that was somebody's ankles wearing a pair of Crocs. I thought that was like his feet underneath a bench.
Yeah, I don't think it's his feet.
Wow. Yeah.
But
actually, I think that's exactly what it is.
You could.
I think that's him standing in water, and the photo is taken underwater with a red flashlight shining in the water.
You know what? It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
Does he wear Crocs?
He looks like the type of guy that would wear Crocs.
If he wears Crocs, then that's another red flag on this guy.
Bigfoot, Mario Patel.
And then, of course, this is what. Well, if it ever comes out.
Oh, what do we got now, Steve?
The picture of the creature that came out of the thing.
Have you tried to get this guy on the show that writes these books?
Oh, he would never come on. Anyway, this picture right here.
So here's the thing. Oh, that's the picture of
the actual, the bad guy that came out of the. So there was good ones and bad ones, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the bad ones.
Yes, that's the guy, right?
It looks like the monster
Johnson,
from
where is Johnson? Johnson's probably
from the fucking Daffy Duck cartoons.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Yeah.
Herman?
Looney Tunes.
Herman the monster.
There you go. This is the guy that we're talking about right here.
Yeah, that's Matthew Johnson right there.
And mid-cry, I believe.
Mid-cry, yes.
Yeah, mid-cry.
He looks like he fails at running for like a libertarian seat for Congress constantly.
Yes.
He has that look.
Rogan interviewed him actually.
Oh, really?
Really?
He's well. Wait a minute.
Show.
Here's the he is the reason why Rogan does not believe in Bigfoot anymore.
That's
Yeah, he
I am
killed
dead
Rogan's
serious.
dream.
He-
Oh, was it
the-
for the sci-fi show?
Yes.
Yeah.
The minute that Johnson started talking about Bigfoot and portals, Rogan was out.
So Matthew, okay, you can stop sharing my screen now.
Oh, I can stop sharing your eBay stuff?
Yeah.
You
But
asshole.
it doesn't
Um,
sound,
so-
it sounds like when you play like superheroes with a kid who's just like, well, now I'm bomb proof. Well, now I'm fucking everything proof.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
can't you see Bigfoot? Because he's invisible like the Predator. It's like, well, we used infrared. Well, he can teleport too, stupid.
So
Speaking of children,
these-
speaking of
these
children,
psychic-
What?
Matthew Johnson tied his own child to a tree as Bigfoot bait.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I remember that
I
video.
kid you fucking not.
Yeah.
Now it may have been a joke, but I'm not certain it was.
And I mean, we've been watching this shit for so long now, Chris. Like, when we first got into this, we were dealing with the Justin Smeha story.
What's that?
This was a gentleman who supposedly shot a Bigfoot
Mhm.
in Northern California,
Mhm.
and then shot a couple of baby. Did he shoot two baby Bigfoot, or just the one?
One.
Just one.
No, he didn't shoot. Well, yeah, one.
And he supposedly he killed it, and it rolled down at his feet.
Turns out he was just holding his wallet.
Pretty much. Turns out it was probably just a big bag of shit. And the whole thing, like, you start delving into these stories, you get under the surface just a little bit,
Mhm.
and there's very few of them that have any credibility. Now, you're aware of the Patterson Gimlin footage, that famous Bigfoot footage, you know? Okay, everybody's aware of that. So now recently we're dealing with this whole thing where everybody believes, yeah, that one, Steve. Everybody believes, not everybody believes, but there's this group of people that believes that there was this Bigfoot massacre that took place the day that was shot.
The rivers ran red with
By-
Ran
who?
red with blood. So
that the creature shown in the film is the lone survivor
yes,
of a whole group of them that were gunned down
yes.
by
By who?
the hands of the men that filmed it, and like
Yes,
they
the
brought in
Patterson
bulldozers into the area and covered it all up, and
Yeah.
Hmm.
there's just
This is what
whole
people
thing.
do, Chris.
Why
when
would
they
anybody cover up? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, even the
Right.
government doesn't need to cover up Bigfoot. I understand why you want to cover up aliens because you might have some shit that other people want, but like, there's no reason for anybody to cover up Bigfoot because if you kill Bigfoot, you're just rich.
Yeah.
Like, you literally are just rich. Like, nobody would cover up a Bigfoot thing.
Like, okay, so here's my take on it. Like, if they killed all these other Bigfoot, why did they let that one go? And why did they release the footage of it?
They must have ran out of ammunition.
That's
it.
got to be it.
And
We
why
needed
was it just?
101 bullets. This box only
Yeah.
gave us 100.
Damn it!
Why was
Shit.
okay? So
Damn
all
you,
these other-
Walmart.
all these other Bigfoot are being killed, and she's just randomly strolling across the fucking.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's
that
just
should
watching.
debunk that
She's
whole
just
fucking story.
she's just like watching him just.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a runner
Whatever.
stride at all.
Well, then there's the angle that the reason that they didn't bring any of the bodies forward was like because they thought once they got a good look at one that they were too human, and they were afraid that they'd be charged with murder. But they show the film with that one. That does not look like a fucking human to me.
Oh my God, we just killed all these Sicilians.
Yeah, exactly.
So I figured it out. Matt.
Okay.
Anybody who says they shot, you know how to tell they're lying if they say they shot Bigfoot, right? They say they shot Bigfoot.
Right.
That's how you tell. I mean, it's fucking,
At
I
this
mean,
point,
hasn't been any credible evidence that anybody's ever shot one. Ever.
yeah. And that's kind of like what got us going into this. The whole thing in the
Absolutely.
beginning was that damn fucking Justin Smeha thing, though. With that, I shot
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
We were part of that whole fucking story. It was fun while it
Oh
lasted.
God. But yeah, and then so we just decided to start, talking truth about the shit instead of, placating to everybody's bullshit that was out there. Because most of the shows, if you listen to any of like the Bigfoot podcast or UFO podcast, they just suck the dicks of whoever comes on. Yeah, rah rah rah. And that's why we can't get people like Matthew Johnson on.
Oh,
because
somebody who'll be nice to him.
Right. Because we will ask the tough questions.
Hmm.
And we've had people on that we disagree with, and we've been decent with them. We'll have a decent conversation, but none of them want to have it. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's a very strict worldview. You know what I mean? Like it just.
Well, yeah, a flat earther is not good. I mean, some flat earthers will come on here and debate, but most flat earthers aren't going to want to come on a show that doesn't believe in the flat earth.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense.
And so we deal with a lot of that. Like there's a lot of guys that we'd love to have on the show that will not do our show. Like Jeff Meldrum.
Just like, look, we'll let you get your ideas out there to people who don't necessarily believe.
Oh, I've tried that shit.
Really?
Yeah. They're really particular. Really particular about where they will go, who they will talk to.
There was a listener who actually bitched about it. And we were like, okay, well, get them on here.
Yeah.
Get this whole list of names on here. And he tried. Like everybody turned him down.
Well, because I'm sure all of those guys go on these other shows and they go, I'll go on Hannity. I'll go on. They won't have me. Like, well, we'll have. We don't agree with you. We'll have you. We have an audience.
Yeah. I would gladly debate any of these guys on, or have a discussion. I mean, there have been people who have turned me around on some things. I mean, it's very rare when it comes to stuff like this, but it happens. It's not always that I'm just like,
well,
yeah.
What's an example of some? Because I don't think there's anything anybody could say to get me to believe a flat earther.
No. Oh, flat Earth? No, fuck that. No, that I couldn't get turned around on.
The thing that's even crazier is when some of them start saying that the Earth is more like an ice cube tray and there's other worlds near it. I'm like, you're even crazier now. I believe.
Oh yeah. It gets so fucking wacko.
Yeah.
With the flat Earth, I can't even do it. Like my son and I sat here for however long that god awful dog shit documentary about the flat Earth is long. We sat here just saying that these people should just breed themselves into their own extinction. Like, just give them all an island to live on. And let that gene pool just drop to fucking zero.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I don't know how people.
It's like the people who drank fish tank cleaner because the president said something about a chemical or a drug that might be in that. Like,
yeah, but we already went through the flat Earth thing, and
let them drink it.
What's next? Are people going to be like burning people because they think they're witches?
They did that.
We already did the flat Earth thing.
We already.
Why is it coming back?
I don't think we'll bring it back to Salem witch trials.
That's the direction it's headed, though.
In some cases, yes, I agree with you. With some of the shit, yeah. But I mean, hey, this is it's a world of bullshit now. Yeah. Every time you turn around, what do you hear? More bullshit. That's all I hear nowadays. I can't even. I barely will turn on the fucking news nowadays. I don't know about anybody else, but I won't. Like I give myself what little news I want.
Yeah, I'm on a restricted news regimen since 2016 myself.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much bullshit that I can't deal with it anymore. I had to unplug from that because and then I take in all of this fucking dog shit and talk about
but this is like
it.
a hobby. That's different.
Right. This is different. This is
People
different.
don't really
But
think
then,
news consumption is a hobby. That's just something you're supposed to do to be an educated member of society, right?
but the problem is that this stuff pisses me off. Like
so you I'll get about it.
Yeah. So I do a show about it. I'll get really upset about like these fucking idiots that because I am kind of passionate about the Bigfoot phenomena. All right.
So you believe that Bigfoot is real?
I am leaning more towards the fact that it's real than I am that it isn't.
Mhm.
That's what I'll say. Because I know of people who I believe have had very credible accounts.
Okay.
One of which is in the room. Well,
Not me.
not in the room, but on the show.
I heard one once.
Shut up, Steve. So I want to believe that's a phenomenon I want to believe in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many people that destroy any chance of that being a credible field of research. Like it's looked at with such mockery.
I see. So okay, so that's the real issue with it is. So to me, it's like I never really had much of an opinion on the Bigfoot thing, right?
Right.
So particularly, like I like to talk about like aliens. I'll talk about some other metaphysical stuff, but like Bigfoot, it was just like, yeah, it's just a big ape. Now I'm more interested now that you tell me he could teleport. That's pretty dope. But I never was super interested in it. It never really made sense to me. But then I guess I do realize, like, yeah, I guess if people want grant money to study this sort of thing, then that makes sense. If you're just completely shitting on it and it's quackery, that completely makes sense to me. Then why you do it.
Well, that's like I don't want people to go out there and do bullshit research.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're gonna go out and do research. But the problem, by and large, is the people that go out, they're backyard researchers.
Mm-hmm.
Even our best, even the guys who we consider the best, are doing it just as a hobby.
Yeah, doing it just as a hobby. So that's so when it's like shit on or like people just kind of like fuck with it, it's like, oh, you fucking idiots. Like, because maybe there is a possibility that there is a bipedal ape in North America.
Mm-hmm.
There is that possibility. I'm not saying that it is for sure, but I'm saying that it is a possibility.
Well,
that would be really fucking cool.
There's like no regulation to it, of course. I mean, why would there be? There's not going to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to be expected, but it's like you've got people that are seriously trying to find out the truth about something, but then you have to include all these other people who are just fucking crazy or looking for attention or something and coming in and like fucking it all up. And like, that's all considered from the outsider's perspective. They're all the same group of people.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the people who are like, I think this is an undiscovered primate of some kind, along with the people that are like, these are interdimensional beings that can turn invisible.
Mm.
And it's, a constant conflict, and there's just no way to get anywhere with it or any sort of credibility. And then you've got people, crabs in a bucket trying to climb over each other to get the most attention and get the spotlight and get the notoriety for nothing, because outside of this world, like, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit.
Like, where are you going with it? But they continue to try. They continue to strive to be the most important person out there.
Mm.
A lot of them, I think, are filling social voids in their life.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're a member of a community, and you're seen in that community as a hero to some people,
Right.
No matter what
Somebody
your
that's
belief is.
important.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've all been in that position. I mean, Matt, you run a show. People look up to you. Even the crazies, people look up to them. So hey, I'm important now. So now I got.
Well, you got a microphone in front of you. That means
Yeah.
you speak the truth.
Same with, I do another podcast for the eBay and Amazon stuff, and people think I'm some sort of fucking expert. I'm no fucking expert. I just sell shit, just because I got a microphone in front of me. It's the same concept.
It's amazing how much people will put stock in that. You talk to them like for a little bit, and all of a sudden they think that you have some like amazing powers of perception or something.
Just because you made a joke one day, and Matt, I kind of run with the joke and made a hat. People fucking offer to buy this thing because they think it's some sort of special thing. It's a fucking nuts.
So sell the fucking things, you moron.
Oh yeah, I plan. No, I'm going to
sell them fucking things.
Oh, I've been working on that, man. Come on now.
Jesus.
But I'm just saying it's a mentality that because we put ourselves out there, and same with all these people in the Bigfoot world who are fucking nuts. They put themselves out there so somebody else is going to latch onto that. That's it. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's a community thing.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where it kind of it rang true with us for a while, and then we got so what's the word I'm looking for? Just we got so sick of it all, really. Like we've been doing this show now for almost 7 years, and I just when the stuff comes across now, it's just like, really, like, what the fuck is this new thing? Like this year when the stuff with the UFOs was released from the Pentagon, that was really cool. Like that was like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is neat. But the reaction to it by the people to it was just like, whatever.
No, I think it's just that it happened right now.
Exactly.
People were talking about it.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
it had its heyday. I think the Pentagon waited to release it until it was like, here's this thing.
Yeah, but
like this.
I mean, people were talking about it, but it was like people weren't realizing what was actually being said, what was happening. This is the first time that the government has been like, "Yep, that's what it is."
I mean, the whole Project Blue Book thing, there was a few unknowns, but they didn't really. It wasn't the same thing. This is fucking straight for the fucking Pentagon.
Yeah,
that's a whole different thing.
The thing that gets me with that one is the pilot says that whatever they were tracking was actively jamming their radar, and that was really fucked up.
And that the Pentagon says, yes, this happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. You have the video footage that, the news has shown and everything, but then there's also all this other information that was being recorded that has record of these things happening at the same time. They have the radar logs, they have the communications between networks and stuff where like that supports all this. There's more to it than just the video.
Right.
So there's no chance of it just being like mistaken identity or like, a bug on the screen or whatever, people are trying to say to debunk it. But I just read an article from Rolling Stone with Tom DeLonge about it. And
well, that's the other thing. Like, who the fuck thought that Tom DeLonge was telling the fucking truth?
Well, now he's taking full credit
for
the Pentagon coming forward. He's just like, fuck it.
When that came out, Chris, did you believe that Tom DeLonge was like on top of shit?
No.
No, nobody did.
I'm still not. I think he got fucking lucky. I mean, that's about it. I mean, I've never put any credit.
You think he just got handed something?
I think he just got.
Yeah, it was released. He released it at the same time that it was being released by the news media. So it wasn't like he got it. It was like
he's just getting credit.
Yeah, he just put it out real fast. But now he's saying that the only reason the Pentagon has admitted to anything and come forward is because of him, because he held their feet to the fire. And I'm like,
right, Blink 182.
Here's what
chill out, man.
Here's what people forget though. This isn't the first time this has happened, and people don't realize that. It falls perfectly in line with a Mexican incident a decade ago. So in the 90s sometime.
You need to come up with another term than a Mexican incident for that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did I just
like almost
Yeah, I can't accept that on the show, Steve.
A southern south of the border. No, that's bad. That's worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you work on that for the next show?
Murder UFO.
Yeah.
No, but the videos are almost. I mean, they're similar, very similar.
Central American UFO.
They were also being. I think their radar was also being jammed. Same exact thing. Mexican Air Force.
When do the rape
Need to
crickets
raid
get
because they're
here?
blindfolded so they can hit the pinata. You know.
Yeah.
On the radar.
That's how they fly, Steve.
Oh.
Asshole.
What if we have like a plague of rape crickets though?
Rape crickets?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'd rather deal with the
As long as they're
murder.
not from the moon, I think you're good.
Well, how big would these rape crickets be? Because that makes,
Big enough to rape.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
come
I mean,
on. We're
What
probably
are they
talking.
raping?
You ever seen that movie Mimic?
What are they raping? It's important to know what are they raping.
Well, what are the hornets murdering?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, hornets are murdering people.
Okay, so
the rape crickets would rape people.
would we be afraid of them any other way?
No. Well, no.
I mean, are you really concerned
They
with
were
like
raping other?
Are crickets like a big concern of yours?
Yeah.
Do you like get upset when the cicadas are coming out?
If they're raping other crickets, I don't care.
That cricket did not give
Oh,
consent.
so it's okay. So cricket on cricket rape is completely fine for Steve.
It's fine with me.
They have a cricket
Cricket
raping,
on
like,
dog
the
rape.
dog.
I don't
That's
care.
hilarious.
Just as long as
Most
it ain't
crickets
cricket
are
on
raped
people
by
rape.
another cricket that they already knew. Actually,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure rape is standard in the animal kingdom. I'm just saying, like outside of human beings, like I'm pretty sure, like there's not a lot of consent that goes on. I mean, if you've ever seen like cats go at it, like that does not seem like it's a
all I
consensual
know is
thing.
if you apply the same consent in the animal kingdom to humans, it doesn't work out too well. Well, you stood there. That's a yes.
Anywho, on that note, I'm gonna wrap this show up. Chris, thanks for coming on.
No doubt. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah,
I learned a
Wait,
lot.
I gotta ask a question. Is that a fucking lobster on your hat?
No, it's a Goku silhouette.
I don't know what that is.
That's hair,
Oh,
Steve.
Okay.
Oh, Steve. See, we have him on just because he doesn't get anything at all.
Nothing.
Period. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 130, whatever. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe. Check out Matt Knapp over at Bigfoot Crossroads, youtube.com/Bigfoot Crossroads and Cryptid Tales. Check us out over at anchor.fm/the Fortean Slip. As has been going on during this time, the videos on YouTube take forever to process, so the show won't be up until tomorrow. Check out good old Phil Poling over at youtube.com/Parabreakdown. Our artist Dred Funn. If you've got any work you'd like done, hit up Fred. youtube.com/Dred Funn and dredfun.com. Yes, that image behind Steve was done by the great Fred Dunn. And check out Chris Stanley and Bronx Johnny over at gasdigitalnetwork.com. They are High Society Radio.
You shorten the link.
You get that on YouTube and iTunes too, wherever you get your podcast.
Yeah.
High Society Radio. Check it out. Also, I'm selling a couple of we have left. If you go to my Twitter, it's at Chris from BKLYN. I'm only have a couple left, but I'm selling. So if just tweet me and I'll tell you if I have any left. Copies of my first comic, Snake Dick, Legend of the Manaconda, coming with a limited edition print, $15, and 100% of the proceeds go to help comic shops that are shut down because of the coronavirus.
Oh, nice. Shoot me that link and I'll after the show, and I will I'll post it on my like page, because I've got the like page is much huger than the show.
By bazillion.
By a lot. So but yeah, and definitely go over and check out Chris and the guys over at High Society Radio and the other shows on Gas Digital Network. They are a bunch of funny motherfuckers. Chris, it was fun having you on. Sorry I fanned out a bit. I know I did.
It happened
early on. Happens. I did it with Johnny at first.
I want to come back on with Johnny once he got the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we will see you guys next week with another show. Until then, see